Hello, Mrs. McCarthy.
Hello.
My name is Joanna Nisley, and I'm going to be the social worker just talking with you a little bit today. Is it okay if I have a seat here?
Sure, of course. Make yourself at home.
Thank you so much. Were you made aware that I would be coming in and speaking with you today?
Yes, the school notified me.
Okay, good. So I just want to let you know a little bit about why I'm here. I am from Child Protective Services, and we received a referral about Johnny just from his teacher, just being a little bit concerned about just not being sure if he's being cared for properly at home. And so I've been sent here just to figure out what's going on, what the home situation is like for Johnny. And my primary role is to make sure that Johnny is receiving the best care possible. And in order to do that, just really getting to know what's going on in your life and kind of what you're all dealing with right now. But I just want you to know that I am looking towards the best interests of Johnny. And so as your mother, we're working together to figure out what's best for him. So
Yeah.
do you have any questions about why I'm here or what the purpose of this is?
The school told me that they made a referral, but they didn't give me specifics. Do you know why?
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it's probably scary having Child Protective Services come, and so I want this to be as, just as comfortable as possible to talk about this. So the teacher was just concerned because she noticed that Johnny wasn't being bathed as often, and his clothes just looking a little bit more, just not as put together as he normally has been. And so she noticed that change and wanted to just make sure that everything is going well at home and he's getting the care that he needs. So does that make sense that she would say that, or do you know what could be going on that might be the reason?
I guess it kind of makes sense. I don't really understand what the big deal is. So his clothes aren't always matched when he goes to school. They have wrinkles. I don't understand why that's such a big deal.
Okay. Has there been anything that's happened in your life in the last month or so, which is when the teacher noticed the changes in Johnny, that maybe could be causing him to not be getting as much care as he used to be getting?
Well, as you can see, I am in a wheelchair. About a month ago, I was in a car accident, spinal cord injury. I am now paralyzed from the waist down, who knows for how long. I've been dealing with that, and so it's, I can't iron his clothes. The board is too tall.
Wow, I'm so sorry about that accident. I'm sure that was, and it continues to be a really hard thing that you're dealing with. Just all of the physical pain and the new things that you're having to learn to do, while also caring for Johnny, who also has special needs that you have to care for. So, I am here today to talk about Johnny and figuring out what the best way we can care for him at this point. But I also acknowledge that there are a lot of things and probably a lot of needs that you have right now. Is that true? Are you feeling kind of overwhelmed in a lot of those areas?
Yes,
okay.
I am.
Yeah, so I'm sure that it's probably hard to focus on one of those right now, and it seems like they're all coming together into this one big problem. But I would like to help just talk about Johnny today, but I can also make referrals to try to get you other help you need if that is getting different adaptations in your house. We can talk with different agencies who can help you handicap your house more and get you some financial assistance if that's needed and different things. So does that help kind of break those things down for you a little bit?
A little bit, but what exactly do you have in mind for Johnny?
Yeah, so that's what I'd like to talk about, kind of some different things about just getting to know how he's being cared for now. So while the accident was happening, or let's go back to before the accident happened. How what was your life like then, and how were you caring for Johnny?
I mean, it was fine. We lived downtown. He had a shower every day. Mm-hmm. He's a bit of a handful, but nothing I couldn't handle. Mm-hmm. And he went to school. He doesn't get the best grades in class, but he has Down syndrome. Mm-hmm. And, when you're living with a child with Down syndrome, things aren't the same as with normal households. You can't expect it to be the same. Mm-hmm. So, but I never received any complaints from the school before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's great. I'm so glad that you care so much about Johnny, and it seems like you have been able to really provide a great, safe home for him growing up. And also as your mother, as his mother, you understand Johnny better than anyone else, and I'm sure you understand his disability very well, and you've gotten him into a great school that can really care for him. So, yeah, I'm very encouraged to hear those things. Would you like to tell me a little bit about what that was like during your accident and who cared for Johnny then?
Well, while I was in the hospital, my mother let Johnny stay with her, and so he was still going to school. And so then when I got out of the hospital, I was able to move to this apartment that's handicap accessible, and so and I was able to get a job a week ago as a secretary. So yeah.
Good. That's great that, this apartment is beautiful, and that's so good that you're able to move in here. And also, so good to hear that you have a job, and it seems like you're already putting a lot of work in to be able to care for yourself and Johnny. So you have family in the area. Are they a type of support system for you, or could you tell me a little bit more about them?
Well, my mother lives kind of far away. She's in the next city over, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
How involved is she in your life right now?
She comes once a week, and she cleans the house for me. So, yeah, okay. That's been very helpful.
Yeah, so she helps you with different needs that you have around the house. Does she help with Johnny much at all anymore?
No. She and Johnny don't get along.
Okay. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about that? Is that hard that they don't get along, or?
Yeah, it's hard, and it's not like it's Johnny's fault. Mm-hmm. But my mother never really approved when I got pregnant. It's a one night stand. It was just, I was drunk, and so, things just happened. And it was a stupid mistake, but I'm glad I have Johnny. Mm-hmm. Johnny's, it can be hard sometimes, but he's a good boy.
Mm. Yeah, I'm glad that you can see how the good could come out of that situation. And do you feel like there's strain in your relationship with your mother? I know that might be hard to talk about different issues you have with our families, but what does that look like?
Yeah, there's strain, but so she doesn't really want anything to do with Johnny, and that's hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Okay. Do you have any other supports in the area that could help you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I had to move here for the apartment, so my friends all live downtown, and they aren't able to support a child. So.
Okay. Are you connected to any type of church or religious community in the area?
No, churches aren't for me.
Okay. I just ask that because sometimes churches can be a good support system for when people are going through hard times, and so if that was something that you were involved in, that's something we could look into, but
no.
Okay. So what have you been doing recently? have you been thinking about different care options for Johnny, or is that something that you haven't really delved into yet? Just let me know where you're at with kind of looking into care for him.
Is there no way he could stay at home with me?
There could be some options for that. What were the options that you are aware of or that you've been thinking about?
I mean, I know that there are people who could come in, but I don't have that kind of money. I can't do that.
Okay. Yeah, so I actually am also a mother and have some children, so I feel that tug, I'm sure that's on your heart, of like wanting to be able to care for your child and wanting to show them your love through that, and that could be really hard to face the idea that you might have to let someone else care for him for a little bit. But yeah, so one potential option would be to have a nurse come into your home, and it's great that you have a handicap accessible home, so that nurse could come in and be able to help Johnny and also possibly help you, but
I can't pay for it.
Okay, yeah, and that's definitely something that we could talk through and see if there could be a possibility. Some financial, has anyone talked to you about any type of financial aid that you might be eligible for?
As a single mother, yeah, I have WIC.
Okay, good, yeah, and that can be helpful. Another thing, since you are disabled at this point, you could apply to get your Social Security disability income, which would be a monthly check that you could get, which would help you with some of your different needs. Also, Medicaid could be applied for to see how that might be able to help you and Johnny. So there are some things that we could look into with that. And
yeah, I do have Medicaid as
okay.
well. It's not enough to pay for a personal nurse.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can look into how these other aids might be able to help you, and we can also look into some other options. So one option, because you are a loving mother and you really do care for your child, and I know that this might be hard to hear, but one thing that might be best for Johnny is to put him into a type of temporal foster care home. And so there are some options of foster care agencies in the area who will do a program where your child will go live with a family for up to a year, and that kind of can just give you some time to be able to recover on your own and see if you could get to a point where you could care for Johnny on your own again. And you would have a lot of contact with Johnny through that, and you would be a big part in choosing what home he's put into and knowing that family and getting to have contact with them. How are you feeling about that option?
Well, I mean, it's better than a group home or anything, but I mean, Johnny has Down syndrome. He won't understand, and he might think that he might not know that it's temporary.
Yeah. Are you maybe feeling a little bit of fear for how Johnny might react or how he could possibly thrive in such a situation?
Yeah,
and that is understandable because this would be something that is very new for you and for Johnny. And the great thing is, though, that this is an agency who truly wants the best for your child, and so they would be working alongside of you, and this wouldn't be a situation where Johnny's being taken from you, because we do know that you're a mom who really cares, and so you would be able to meet with the family and get to know them and make sure that they would understand Johnny and be able to help him through that. And there's also some different programs that he could maybe get involved in, which are called day hab programs, where he can go somewhere during the day. He can learn different skills, kind of a school type environment, but with other children with disabilities, and they can learn like playing together. which could also become a good support system for you and the foster family during that year.
Mm-hmm.
Are you feeling a little bit more supported in those different areas, knowing that these people will care for Johnny?
And I get to meet the family, and if I
Yeah.
don't like them, they don't have to be.
Yeah, because you know Johnny and you really care for him better than other people, so you would be a big part in figuring out what home he would be placed in. And it's a locally based agency, and so he could be placed nearby as well.
So I could see him every day. That wouldn't bother the family.
That would be arranged when you kind of meet with the family and decide what that would look like, but that could be a possibility depending on what scenario would be best. And yeah, you could talk through that more with the agency if that's the direction you choose to go.
Okay. That sounds like a good option. I'll have to think more about it. So, but yeah, that sounds like an option.
Okay. Are you feeling a little bit more relieved that some of these things have been talked through? And
yeah. Nice just to have someone who's willing to hear my side of the story, and yeah.
And like I said at the beginning, my role is to care for Johnny, but that involves understanding what's going on in your life, and I'll leave some referrals with you for different agencies that can help serve some of the other needs that you have as well, and also just be encouraged to know that we're working with you. As long as you care for Johnny and you really want what's best for him, we are on the same team, and we're trying to figure out the best care possible for your son.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions before we finish today?
When will you come back? How
I
soon can we get everything rolling?
Yeah, I can start putting in requests to some of these agencies and try to get meetings set up for you probably in the next week or so.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can be in contact to just if anything changes in your situation, and also, just be in constant communication as we hear back things from these agencies.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much for letting me in your home today, and it was so nice to meet you. This was my birthday.
It's nice to meet you too, surprisingly.
Good evening.